is Srimati. Today we are going to see about the topic tissue. So what is tissue? So tissue is a group of cells that are similar in structure and function. So next slide. Next slide. So plant tissue are divided into two types. One is meristematic tissue and another one is permanent tissue. So meristematic tissue is a group of immature cells and permanent tissue is a group of matured cells. So these cells are dividing cells and these cells are non-dividable cells. So meristematic tissue are further divided into three types. One is apical meristem, lateral meristem and intercalary meristem. Permanent tissue is divided into simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. So simple permanent tissue is divided into three types. One is parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. So both the cells are living cells and sclerenchyma is a dead cells. So next, permanent tissue consists of two cells. One is xylem and second one is phloem. These two cells function in conduction of water and food materials. So today we are going to see only meristematic tissue and their function. So next slide. So what is meristematic tissue? So meristematic tissue is a group of immature cells. These cells can be divided into small groups or many groups. So we can see these kinds of cells in apex of the root or stem. Next slide. Here we can see a diagram about meristematic tissue. So meristematic tissue here having region of maturation, region of elongation, region of cell division. So already I have mentioned that meristematic tissue is divided into three types. One is apical meristem, lateral meristem and intercalary meristem. So apical meristem is the region of young growth and apical meristem is followed by intercalary meristem. So intercalary meristem is the elongation of cells and lateral meristem gives secondary growth of the plant tissue. So next slide. Types of meristem based on origin and development, based on position, based on function and based on plane of division. There are four major types. We can briefly discuss about the topic. Next slide. Origin, based on origin and development, there are three types. One is promeristem, primary meristem and secondary meristem. So promeristem are young matured cells, young cells. So promeristem is followed by primary meristem. Primary meristem is the growth of primary growth and primary growth is followed by secondary growth, which are seen in the secondary growth of the plant tissue. So primary meristem consists of epidermis, cortex, vascular bundle and secondary meristem consists of same as well developed in secondary growth of plant tissue. So next slide. Based on position, apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. For example, we can imagine the root structure. Already I have discussed about the images that apical meristem are born on the apex of the root or stem and intercalary meristem present in between the apical and lateral meristem and lateral meristem is followed by secondary growth of the plant tissue. Next slide. Based on function, there are three types. One is protoderm, procambium and ground meristem. So protoderm, proto young cells, derm a type of skin. So for example, protoderm is the epidermis of the cells. So epidermis is the outermost covering of the cell. Procambium. So cambium we can see in the vascular bundle. It is round in cells. In ground meristem we can see epidermis is followed by cortex. So cortex region is called ground meristem. Next slide. Plane of division. So plane of division is divided into mass meristem, rib meristem, plate meristem. So mass meristem is the group of cells and rib meristem is also known as file meristem and rib meristem is the elongation of cells and plate meristem is the division of one cells. This is called plate meristem.